Hello, Gene Schwimmer here. Welcome to today's vlog. Should be a short one heading into the weekend. 3 short subjects, so short that I don't think I have to summarize them ahead of time today. I want to reply to a couple of commenters and then just show you a very good, political ad, I guess you could call it. It has to do with voter ID in Texas. Definitely worth waiting for. Now, the 2 comments, just give you my policy. I forgot to do it last time when I replied to a commenter. My policy is generally not to reply to comments because I have these vlogs to say whatever I want for as long as I want to. And I just feel that it's overkill for me then to jump into the comments. I leave that to all of you. But every so often, either somebody makes a factual mistake or raises some important issue or an interesting issue that I want to address. So I've got one example of each today. The first one, I'm not going to put up the comment, but it was a criticism, and I do appreciate the criticisms, by the way. I try to, I always take them to heart. I try to use them to improve if they're a criticism of how I do these vlogs. It was a complaint about stuttering. Well, about me talking too slow, number one, and about quote-unquote stuttering. So I just want to reply to that just briefly. As far as the slow delivery sometimes, the problem in both cases actually is that I have a day job. As I think I replied in the comments also in writing if somebody wants to look through the comments. But I have a day job. I don't have time to work on these vlogs. That's the problem that I have. I don't have time to do a lot of research. I can quickly, thank God for the internet, I can quickly look up things when I have to look them up. You'll notice sometimes that I have to put a correction into the video itself because I wasn't able to look it up before the video. So I was able to look it up while I was editing, and then I would issue a correction sometimes. So that's one problem that I run into. The other one is that I don't have time to really rehearse anything. I get a subject that I want to talk about as I'm working during the day. I'm a commercial real estate broker, so I have a day job. I have customers to take care of, and then I really pretty much do what I'm doing right now, is I just wing it. I speak extemporaneously, right off the cuff, and I make mistakes. And sometimes I have to pause to collect my thoughts. And what I've been doing, or I'll have an or a you know, very rarely, but sometimes I'll have that, and I've been editing them out. So this is one case where I may be able to help a little bit. I'm going to try to leave the uhs and the ands in so that you don't get a jump cut. What is a jump cut? Here's a jump cut. In other words, I'm saying something and then I make a mistake, or I go on too long, or I repeat something and I have to cut out a piece of the video. I used to edit audio courses for the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. There was an engineer. He would record the audio, these people speaking, and then would edit the tapes. Now, when you're editing a tape, it's very simple to cut out a piece of an audio tape, and it's seamless. You just don't hear the part that was cut out, so it just flows seamlessly. You literally, in those days, now you do it electronically, but in those days, you'd have the tape and you literally would take a razor blade, cut out the piece of tape that you wanted to take out, and then tape the exposed ends together. But these days, in video, the problem is you can't hear an edit, but you can see it. There's what's called a jump cut. If you have time to rehearse, you can do a take over and over and over and get it right, and then you can cut the takes together. You can get rid of these jump cuts. You can avoid the jump cuts, but and also because you have multiple characters speaking, you have more than one scene. So if I'm talking to somebody else who is next to me and you have a close-up of me and a close-up of the other person, and I say something and I make a mistake, you can cut in a close-up of the other person so it looks like a change of shot, and then you don't really notice that there's a piece taken out. But here you have one person just talking continuously against a plain background, and when I make a mistake, the only way to correct it is to, well, in some cases literally, it would mean recording an entire 10, 20, 30-minute vlog over all the way from beginning to end. Sometimes I do get away with it when I'll put up a chart or something and I'll let the chart fill the whole screen, and then I can edit the audio to my heart's content, because all you're seeing is this still shot that takes up the whole screen, so you don't see the jump cuts. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to disappoint that commenter and any other commenters who have that problem. There's really nothing I can do about it. You're going to have to live with the jump cuts, because I don't have time. I can't rehearse a half-hour vlog over and over and over until I can do the whole thing without a mistake. So I hope you'll bear with me on that. I just wanted to explain that, so maybe you can have, well, pity on your poor vlogger. But that is the situation, and as I said, all I can try to do is, well, you can let me know in the comments which is more important to you. Would you rather hear me say and stop, have 5 seconds of silence while I collect my thoughts for the next thing I want to say, or would you rather have the audio flow quickly and just have jump cuts? And then there's another solution I could suggest, which is very simple. Unless I'm actually showing a chart that you need to see, or there's some illustration that you need to see, then just simply don't look at the video. Minimize your browser, just listen to the audio, and then you'll hear the audio should be very smooth and you won't see any jump cuts. So just want to get that out of the way. So that was one comment. The other one came today, and this is a factual error that I want to dwell on a little bit, because it's actually important in a way. But I was talking about refugees from Cuba the other day and comparing them to the unlawful aliens coming in over the border from Mexico into Texas and Arizona. Well, there you go. Okay, you just had one. You see, I stumbled there. Ordinarily, I would have edited that out where I stumbled there. I'm going to leave it in this time. So you tell me if that bothers you. And then that's what I'll do in the future. It makes it easier for me, because then I don't have to edit so much. I can just literally maybe just cut the, put the tape on at the beginning, the video, and just let it run straight to the end, leave all the mistakes in there, and makes my job easier. So it would be a win-win for both of us. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying, the unlawful aliens coming over the border from Mexico, they are economic migrants. Well, they're unlawful aliens, and they're just coming to get jobs. That's the only reason that they're coming. And I got a comment from well, here it is, from Alex, he calls himself. You mean economic migration, referring to the Cubans? No. That's a factual error that really needs to be corrected. They are refugees. They are refugees fleeing communism. You could watch the tweet. Cubans received preferential immigration conditions because they came from a historically close U.S. neighbor and ally. And pay attention to that first sentence. After Fidel Castro's revolution, anti-communist Cubans received preferential immigration conditions. In other words, if you're well, he's dead now, fortunately. But Fidel Castro, he would not have been allowed into the country because he was a communist. But you have to keep in mind, if you're a Cuban dissident, for instance, Cubans who are not communists, who are anti-communist, they are beaten, they are arrested, they are locked up, they are in prison for who knows when, they are executed. And ask anybody who wears a Che Guevara t-shirt, that's what he did. He was a mass murderer, and he enjoyed it. But I'm getting off the track here, as I so often do, which is another problem, I guess. I might have edited it out, but I'm trying not to edit stuff out today. But anti-communist Cubans received preferential immigration conditions because it came from a historically close U.S. neighbor and ally. This law provided them permanent status and resources to help adjustment to life in the U.S. As described in the USCIS website, the Cuban Adjustment Act of 1966, CAA, allowed Cuban natives or citizens living in the United States who had lived in the United States at least 2 years to apply to become lawful permanent residents by getting a green card. These conditions applied to successive waves of Cuban arrivals, including about 1 million Cubans who were paroled into the United States between 1960 and 1961. The airlifting of about 250,000 Cubans fleeing communism, remember, not economic migration, fleeing communism under Castro between 1965 and 1973, and the 1980 Mariel boat lift. And pay attention to this last sentence. The CAA, the Cuban Adjustment Act of 1966, served as the basis for reception of the Indo-Chinese Immigration and Refugee Act of 1975, affecting refugees from Southeast Asia following the fall of Saigon. So when the United States left Vietnam and the North Vietnamese invaded the South because we stopped supporting them, that's a whole other story. Until we stopped supporting the South Vietnamese army, they were easily holding their own against the North Vietnamese. We stopped the aid, and the North Vietnamese, they flooded in, and well, the boat people, they were called the boat people. Maybe some of you are too young to be familiar with that term, but thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of South Vietnamese who would have been, well, those who did not escape, many of them were put into re-education camps. Those who were not killed, which would be those who worked for the South Vietnamese regime, many, if not most, if not all of them, were murdered, were massacred. Does anybody think that all these so-called boat people are coming a much farther distance over the ocean, that they were just looking for better jobs, looking for $15 an hour? It wouldn't even have been $15 an hour then. It would have been more like 75, more like $8 an hour, something like that. But it's obvious from this summary that the Southeast Asia Act, and I don't know how anybody could mistake the Vietnamese refugees after the fall of Saigon, immediately after the fall of Saigon in 1975, confuse them with economic migrants. I don't know how anyone could do that, but that obviously is or was built on the Cuban Adjustment Act of 1966. It was, well, the two are equivalent. That is the whole idea. So that's the thing. I just wanted to correct that, because that it's okay. People make mistakes. They get facts wrong, and a lot of times I don't bother to correct them. But this one has serious implications, because the situation of Cubans fleeing Cuba and these unlawful aliens coming in from, in from Mexico, but from a number of other countries, and without being vetted or even tested for coronavirus. That's another story. But the difference between those people and Cuban refugees fleeing communist Cuba, the difference could not be more stark, and that is a serious mistake too. It's a kind of mistake that someone like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez could make, and I don't think even she would make that mistake. She would maybe say something like that deliberately, but the differences again could not be more stark. So now on to the main feature for today, which is simply to show you an ad. I would have been done a long time ago if I hadn't chosen to respond to those two comments, but because this thing is so short, I thought I would take the opportunity. It's a simple ad. As you know, a whole bunch of Democratic Texas legislators fled Texas to prevent a vote on a voter integrity law. Two of them have come back, by the way. Two of them have returned to Texas, but more will be returning, and I think those two return is because they're fleeing. It was a political stunt in which, unfortunately, a number of them were infected with coronavirus. I'm sure that they're coming back because their political stunt did not go over so well in Texas, and I would guess that it didn't even go over very well in their own districts. Anyways, here's the ad.
I'm Melvin Everson. Says it right here. I use my ID to drive, fly, even pick up tickets to a ball game. It proves I am who I say I am. But Democrats say black folks like me don't know how to get one of these. The truth is, they think this stops them from winning the election. That's what Democrats really care about.
The Republican National Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
That's it for today. I really tried to minimize the edits. Tell me what you thought, and I will take any criticisms to heart and any compliments to heart too. And I would really take to heart a thumbs up if you could give me one if you like this video. Share with anybody you think would also like it. Got any comments? Comment section below the video where you can put questions, suggestions for future topics. You could visit my other channels, my hot dog recipe channel, my original music channel. You could subscribe. I love getting new subscribers. But most of all, I really appreciate the time that you spent with me and putting up with the jump cuts. I would love to see all of you again. I look forward to seeing all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.